新年明けましておめでとうございます。
If we only care about what other people think, that is a recipe for unhappiness, whatever the reason is.
こんにちは。そしてはじめまして。百の花のゆきです。この番組では毎回ゲストをお呼びしてそのインタビューを配信しております。十人十色の生き方考え方、共通しているのはどなたも子供がいないということです。今日のゲストは英語スピーカーの方です。日本語と英語訳をつけております。それではどうぞお楽しみください。Today we have Heather here. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you.
I'd like to ask your age and where you live and what do you do for a living?
Okay, so I'm 61 and I live in Shinjuku in central Tokyo. And I work as an editor for a Buddhist association.
Okay. How long have you been here?
25 years.
Do you enjoy living in Japan?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, the first 10 years, I was a little bit unsure if I wanted to settle here. But now I'm really happy here.
Great. So the first question is, how do you currently have no children?
This is partly related, I guess, to the question of when I came here. So I came to Japan when I was 36. Before working in Japan, I was working in Cambodia for 4 years. So I left the UK in my early 30s to pursue my interests and my work. And because I also had a relationship that finished when I was 32, and I thought, okay, time for a new beginning. And so I was focused on prioritizing what I wanted to do in that sense. And I kind of knew that therefore I was maybe less likely to get married and settle down and have a family. But I was always open to the idea of having children, but I never wanted to have kids on my own. And I never met the person I could have a sufficiently good relationship with at the right time to have children. So it just sort of happened. Yeah.
So many women around late 30 to early 40s notice the ticking of the biological clock. When you were in that age, what would you feel about it?
Yeah, I guess that's part of the reason why I was kind of unsure if I wanted to stay in Japan, because of the kind of person I am and because of the kind of relationship I would want. It was probably going to be more difficult to find that kind of relationship in Japan. So that's why in my first maybe 10 years or less here, I was a little bit in two minds as to should I stay, should I go back to the UK. But in the end, for me, most important to be following my dream, which is not just to build a career, but to sort of contribute to the world in the biggest possible way through the work I was doing with the Buddhist Association. I guess I had a couple of situations or relationships where I sort of thought, maybe I've met someone who it could work out with, but then, in the end, it didn't.
So, pursuing your dream, what you wanted to do, thinking back your early time, do you feel regret or do you accept your decision?
I'm very fortunate that I have two sisters and they have both got families and they have kids. And so I feel I'm very lucky to be, kind of auntie to my nephews and niece. And so that is really important to me. I think if I had not had nephews and a niece, then something I would have been more sorry to have missed. And also I have two godchildren, children who my friends' children who I kind of support or whatever. So I feel I'm really lucky to have children in my life. And there are sometimes moments where I think, wow, my life would have been so different if I had kids. But I'm very happy with my life. And I think for me, it was really important for me to show that I could be happy in myself and not always looking for something extra or something outside of myself. So I feel there's meaning. Actually, for me, there's meaning in the fact that I'm single and I don't have kids.
I read the article, child free is a selfish decision. What would you think about it?
I think that's a really weird perspective because actually, for the sake of the planet at the moment, we don't need more children, especially in developed countries. We use so many resources. I'm not saying it's selfish to have children, but actually, there are some people who decide not to have kids for the sake of the future of the planet. I mean, my mother, up to a certain point, she was maybe a bit disappointed that I didn't settle down and have kids, but she knows that I'm really happy as a person and I really care about other people. I'm not someone who's only thinking about myself. I've never had anybody say that to me directly.
Yeah. It's a article. I love that. Every time I ask this kind of question to mostly English speaker who is very independent, but I think Japanese culture, it's more a group culture. So if you are not in the norm, you feel like stigmatized. And so many Japanese women without children are so depressed. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think in any society, people find it a little challenging when there are other people who live a different life. And even in the UK too. When I go back to the UK, like all my sister's friends are all, couples and families. Okay, the couples may split up, but they kind of tend to be people who are in relationships. So I think there is some extent to which, as a single woman, you're seen as someone sort of odd. But I think it's really, really important for people just to appreciate their own lives, somehow able to treasure themselves. And as I said before, there are many ways we can contribute to society that are still valuable. I mean, we can still help look after other people's kids sometimes, or we can help to take care of our parents more because we don't have kids to keep us so busy. And we can, I think there are many roles we can play in society. I just feel if we only care about what other people think, that is a recipe for unhappiness. Whatever the reason is that we care about what other people think, if we're more influenced by that than our own heart, we will never be happy. So I really feel sorry for people who feel like that, and I really would encourage them to say, just wow, I'm alive, I'm living this life, I'm a beautiful woman, I'm able to interest in my hobbies and able to have good friends, and there are many things we can do in life without having our own children.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so how do you feel about having no children?
Yeah, I mean, I don't wake up every morning and think, oh my God, I don't have any children. I just wake up and think, especially as I get older, I just feel really fortunate to be healthy. And I'm lucky like that. And I feel really fortunate. I have a job that I'm interested in. And I do a lot to try and support younger women, especially in my office, and encouraging younger women to be more confident and to be happy in themselves. Because I think so many women get into relationships that are not really the best for them because they're so afraid of being alone and so afraid of being maybe. I really actually want to show people there are many ways to be happy as a woman. And of course, I still would love to have a good relationship in the future. I'm not close to that idea. And if I have a relationship with someone who has their own kids, I'll be really happy with that. So I think I know in Japan, maybe it's a little bit harder for older women to have that, maybe that sense of possibility. But I think in the end, the sense of possibility has to start with us. If we don't believe there are positive possibilities in our life, then we become kind of a little bit darker. So we have to try to light ourselves from the inside, I think, even if it's difficult. Yeah.
I'm a bit different from your situation. I am married and I've been wishing to have children. I tried many different ways. I peacefully let go of this dream. Even though sometimes, particularly summertime in Japan, there's a thing festival, I would say. So when I see the family with small children wearing yukata kimono, being happy look, it always attacked somewhere in my mind. Maybe it reflected my childhood memories. Then I feel I have a moment.
Yeah.
So, do you have that kind of moment, and what would you do if so?
Yeah, I mean, I think very occasionally, and what happens for me more is that when I meet my friends and I see their kids who are now grown up, I'm just like, wow. When you see a child when it's small, that's one thing, but when you see this adult, then it's like, oh my goodness, you created such an incredible human being. There's a lot of experiences that those friends of mine had that I didn't have. So that sometimes makes me feel a little bit sad. But, it's really important. It's a bit like me with relationships. I used to sometimes, if I saw a couple looking really happy together, if I was feeling not happy with myself, I would almost feel annoyed or criticize. I want to criticize them, why are you so happy? But I think what is much more healthy is to be able to say, wow, I'm so happy for you that you found that. That's amazing. And I think now I'm more able to just be happy for anyone who can have a happy relationship and have a happy family life. And sometimes when we see those kids and parents, we don't know, maybe they've got some terrible illness in the family, or maybe somebody just died, or maybe they, we don't know. We see from the outside that they look perfectly happy, but actually we really don't know. So I think it's better to, as much as possible, try to be happy ourselves.
Yeah. That is one of the gifts for me from this journey. You never know someone's happiness from the outside.
Right. Any advantage?
Any disadvantage?
Okay. Do I feel any disadvantage of not having children? I think there is a lot in the process of bringing up children. When I see my sisters' lives, it's a very rich process. First of all, protecting them, feeding them, cleaning them, then gradually letting them become independent and go to school and supporting them. And, I see my sisters and my friends. It's an incredible journey of growth as a person to go through that, and to let go, to trust your children to make the right decisions for themselves and stuff like that. I think it does make people grow themselves. So sometimes I feel maybe I didn't grow so much as a person in some respects, because I didn't have that experience of having to put someone else's needs in front of my own to that extent. Sometimes, if you're a parent, maybe especially a mother, you have to really struggle with that issue of how to be selfish and how not to be selfish, and how to give in a way that is supporting someone's growth, and how to not smother them or control them. So those are issues that really make people grow as an individual, I think. So sometimes I feel maybe if I had had my own children, I could have grown more as a person in that respect. But that's why I say I'm happy I can also support young women, especially in other ways.
Most of the answer of this question are she will be scared when she think about future, who's going to look after her. or some says it's very easy to trigger to be feeling lonely. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
So when I think about getting older, I have a funny story to tell you, which is that so I always used to think, oh dear, maybe some of my nephews have to take care of me, and maybe that would be a bit troublesome for them. But recently, actually, I had a relationship with a much younger man for a year or two, and we're still very good friends. And we made a deal that when I'm older, he's now just got married, which I'm really happy about. And so he and his wife will look after me when I'm
That's
old.
a good deal.
And I will also help to look after their kids if I'm in the same country. You know, it's a really funny situation because for most people it seems really strange, but actually it makes me really happy because it's a way of staying in contact. And yeah, we're really serious about this. And I feel that I have a lot of good friends, and the challenge is my friends are in different countries. So if I try to think where I want to be, sometimes I talk about I might live together with some female friends or something. And I don't know exactly how things will develop, but I don't feel scared. I feel quite excited. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I couldn't find the very relevant one, so I can't say the exact number. In Japan, 1 in 5 doesn't have children, and
Mm.
1 in 10 don't marry. Maybe other way around.
Yeah.
Anyway, in 10 years, 20 years time, there's a lot of people without children.
Mm.
I like the deal, but I feel like that deal gonna be the everywhere in the world.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there are many ways society can develop and many different roles we can
Yeah.
play.
Or maybe the robot help us. Even only 5 years back, I never know the
Mm,
phone will do everything. So
that's true. Actually, this is a big challenge now for kids that, there's so much technology in their lives. I'm actually more worried for young people
yeah.
growing up now that I think they spend so much time with technology and they really need human relationships and encouragement. So if there are more adults who are, motivated to spend time actually talking to young people and
Yeah.
maybe going walking with them or just doing things with them, I
Mm,
think that's so important.
true. What do you enjoy to do in your spare time?
So I'm quite active in this Buddhist network, and I spend time sometimes meeting with women and young women to encourage them in that sense. And then also, I have a balcony with plants and some vegetables sometimes, so I like doing that. And I help to take a friend's dog for a walk sometimes.
Mm.
I can't have my own dog. And also, I write poetry. Used to do some music, but actually, since the pandemic, I found I haven't been doing that so much. But yeah.
Having hobby increase your happiness.
Mm,
So,
mm,
mm,
mm. Yeah, I think that's true.
mm.
Yeah.
What is your definition of fulfillment or happiness? Which is
Wow.
a very big question.
That's a challenging question. Yeah, I think it's to do with a sense of two things. One is kind of being able to appreciate yourself and
Mm,
being yourself and just be sort of grateful to be who you are, and even to be getting older. I'm grateful to be getting older. I'm enjoying getting older. I'm enjoying having my own hair with gray in it, instead of coloring it like I used to. And the other thing is having a sense of being sort of connected, I guess, to other people. That's, I think, really important part of happiness. That can be friendships, can be family, can be colleagues, and also I think just a sense of freedom in our own heart. And to be honest, I think not having kids are really lucky to have more choices about what we can do with our time. So
mm,
many of my friends who have kids have spent 20 years not being able to follow their dreams. And, maybe to some extent that was necessary, but sometimes I feel they get stuck into a mindset of being a martyr for their kids, kind of sacrificing themselves for their kids. And maybe that's not always good, because the kids need to understand that you have your own personality and your own life and your own needs and wants. And if you just sacrifice those for your kids, in the end, you're going to resent that. And the kids, in some ways, won't maybe respect you as much. I mean, I know everyone is different, and sometimes children have health problems, and then that means the parents have to be really 100% devoted. So I don't want to criticize anyone, but I sometimes feel that people can go just a little bit too far in that direction if you're careful. Yeah.
The last question will be, do you have any dreams or goals?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I guess I feel there are things in my work that I still haven't achieved. And there are also, my next challenge is to find a way to balance the needs of my mother is 93. So I've started to spend more time there. Like once a year I go and I spend 2 or 3 months. I want to find a way to create a good balance. And also I do want to have a good relationship. That's a goal. And it's very much, to me, connected with how I feel about myself. Being able to clearly see and judge what is right for me, and not be in a state of sort of desperation to find someone. I know I'm actually very happy by myself, and so if I do want a relationship, it needs to be with someone who brings something positive, and I can contribute something positive to them. So and I guess on a broader sense, I really want the world to be peaceful. I want to do something to help abolish nuclear weapons, which I think are the embodiment of everything dark in humanity. And I want to do some more to protect the environment as well.
Yeah. Wow, you got lots of dreams and goals.
If I can just say one more thing, because I remember that in our Buddhist group here in Tokyo, we're a network of women and young women. And a few years ago, I made this sort of dream for this group of women to become the happiest women in the world. And I feel that if we as individual women can really become deeply happy, we can contribute to changing what I call the destiny or the karma of women around the world. Because I think as women, we often have a tendency to suffer and a tendency to not value ourselves and not treasure our own lives and sort of put other people's needs first and to look outside ourselves for happiness. So I feel if we, just as this small group of international women practicing Buddhism here in Japan, if we can start to change the way we feel about our lives, then that actually helps to, in small ways, connect with other people and shows women around the world that they can be happy in themselves and contribute to the world. Yeah.
So what is the first step what do you think?
That's a good question. So I guess the first step is for me, myself, to be truly happy and really honest with myself. And so that's where for me, I use sometimes writing poetry helps me to see what I'm feeling and find ways to dig deeper into myself. And I think expressing myself is really important, and not just keeping, because I think also as women, we tend to keep a lot of feelings inside, and that sometimes is not good for our health or our spirit. So I want to find a way to have a voice that can express myself and encourage other people, hopefully, too, a bit. Yeah.
I think that's why you got a mission to be here to encourage us.
Well, I love this kind of conversation. I've enjoyed so much, and I really appreciate so much what you're doing. I think it's beautiful and it's fantastic. So thank you. Really, really. Yeah, you have so much beauty and so much courage and so much joy yourself. So thank you, really.
I'm one of the top reason why I'm doing that. This journey, if I keep inside, it will be dark in somewhere in my mind. But if I speak out, it'll
Mm.
be my treasure. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a mama who is always encouraged by a interview.
Oh, that's really nice. And I think to do it in two languages, it's beautiful. That's a really lovely idea. And who knows, maybe you can inspire people in other countries to do this
Oh,
as
that'll be good.
well. Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
being
Thank
here,
you.
Heather.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
いかがでしたでしょうか、ヘザーさん。昔は自分が落ち込んでる時に仲の良さそうなカップルを見るとね、はあ、何が楽しいのよなんて思ったこともあったなんておっしゃってました。でも、幸せは外にあるのではなくて、自分の中にあるんだと悟った時に、日々自分を見つめていく中で、そんな幸せそうなカップルを見ても、あら、素敵なお相手ができてよかったわねって喜べるようになったっておっしゃってました。私ね、ヘザーさんの何が素敵かって、そのヘザーさんってご自身のその仏教の大きな教えのグループのね、リーダーさんをされているそうなんです。そんなリーダーであるヘザーさんが心の思いを包み隠さずおっしゃってくださったこと。そしてね、私は女性に年を聞くのが大嫌いなんですけれども、100の花の性質上ね、そういうことになりますって打ち合わせで言ったらね、そんな隠すことは何もないからなんておっしゃってくださったんです。日本ではどうもリーダーとか先生とか、場合によっては親だからとか年上だからという理由で、この弱音を見せてはいけないんじゃないかっていうね、そんな傾向があるように思います。で、またリーダーとか先生とか教える立場の人は質問されたらそれに答えなければいけないっていう傾向もあるように思います。でも私が見てきた欧米では、最初からね、完璧な人間はいないというのが前提なので、必ずしもいい答えをいつもあげられるからいい先生というものではなくて、生徒に考えたいなと思わせる、その意欲を与えてくれる先生が本当にいい先生なんだなっていうことを私は欧米社会で学びました。ヘザーさんはそうして、いつも上の立場でいながらも、ありのままの姿を見せられる人なんですね。ヘザーさんの夢や目標は、そのヘザーさんが担当されている仏教哲学グループの方々が、世界で一番幸せな女性になること。そしてそれを始める第一歩はと伺うと、一人一人が幸せになること。で、それはつまり自分に正直に生きること。とかく女性は自分を犠牲にしてしまいがちだからっておっしゃってました。そして自分に正直になる状態を知るには、詩を書いてみたり、自分に向き合ってみる、内観するっていうことをしているっておっしゃってました。自分に正直に生きるって簡単そうで難しいですよね。果たしてこの仕事は自分がやりたいことなのかとか、この人間関係は果たして自分に心地がいいものなのかとかね。そんな夢を持つヘザーさんは、この女性が一番出産するのにいいと言われている最終時期の30代、40代に社会の女性にお役に立ちたいという道を選ばれるんですね。そしてそんなヘザーさんに励まされた多くの女性がいることをインタビューを通じて私も感じました。ヘザー、日本ではあまり馴染みのないお花なんですけれども、欧米ではね、人気の女性の名前の一つです。そしてその花言葉、 追求心、そして頼りになる。これもまたヘザーさんらしいですね。いつもご視聴ありがとうございます。いいね、チャンネル登録とっても励みになります。今年度もどうぞよろしくお願いします。それでは今日はこの辺で。See you soon everyone!